Sorry?
Kelsey. That's the Kings.
Yeah, proud of our guys. Everybody knows Joey Jerome didn't play today. He hurt his ankle yesterday. We're hoping he's going to be back for the next game. But I told those guys in the locker room it was going to take a collective effort of everybody maybe coming out of their comfort zone a little bit, changing their roles. And before I could even get those sentences out of my mouth, those guys start speaking up like, hey, because they love Joe. He's a phenomenal leader. He's as fun of a kid to coach as I've ever coached. I've coached really good players and really, really good kids because he's a leader and he's bought in. He's just fun to coach. And as he was sitting in the locker room, he tried round-the-clock treatment. Jeff Lars is good of a sports medicine trainer as there is in the country. And it was around the clock from the moment the kid hurt his ankle till this morning trying to get him on the court today. And he was actually taped up and dressed up, and he just couldn't walk. He was on crutches this morning. He had tears. I mean, he just crushed that he couldn't play in this type of game. And those kids just rallied around him and wanted to win the game for him. And so that was really, really neat to see. I'm just proud of those guys, and it's a team effort. So many guys made contributions. We beat a really good team. I mean, they're as explosive an offensive team as we'll play all year long. We've played some really, really good teams already. I mean, they're just the type of offensive team that makes you lose sleep. And I did the last couple nights, but to our kids' credit, we dug down, defended, made some big shots, rebounded the ball, and it was a good win.
You always like talking about 4-minute wars, and the first one in the second half is, I think, like when you guys got some room. How big was that to come out?
Yeah, we always say those 10 4-minute wars, none are more important than any others, but there's something about the last one of the first half and the first one of the second half, and I thought Andre's 3 right before the end of the half was just a big shot. Just gave us a shot in the arm, if you will, and a boost going into the locker room. And then coming right out of halftime, I think we had a really, really good spurt. Did a couple little different things offensively to try to open up driving lanes against their zone. And got some open looks, and guys made them. Sometimes you can generate open looks, and they just don't go down. But geez, they have 3 guys make 5 threes. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at days when I coached Justin Gray and Teron Downey and Chris Paul. But I can't remember 3 different guys having 5 threes in the same game in my entire career. They were all big shots.
Yeah. No, I thought, I haven't seen him play every game, but I thought Larry probably one of his better games here.
I think Larry Brown, I think that was the best game he's ever played in the Winthrop jersey.
Yeah.
He was just everywhere. They do some really tough things. They're not an overly complicated offensive team, but they really, really put you in some tough situations and tough positions. And we don't have time right now to talk about all of them, but Larry had some really tough assignments because there were different type of bigs coming in. Saunders is a lot different than Gombauer, who's different than me. And, we changed, our scheme had to change a little bit based on what personnel they had in, and carried out his assignments flawlessly. But he just played his heart out. He was deflecting the ball, getting offensive rebounds. I told him probably the thing I was most proud of is I've never heard him as vocal before the game and at halftime. And I think part of that was with Joey going down. I think he felt like he had to kind of raise his level of leadership and communicate new messages to the guys they needed to hear. And really, really big time game by him.
You guys scored in 20 and 11 off turnovers, and I think quite a few of those were those big threes. How big was it to take advantage of, force turnovers, but then take advantage of
Yeah, I know you're like me, Brett, and you for better or worse, I'm addicted to Ken Palm. All of the efficiency ratings and the statistical stuff. And the thing I think that people are talking about, why aren't your defensive numbers exactly like they were last year? And I think a little bit of it last year was a desperation. We knew to be good, we had to be an elite team. But I've told people, and this is a tip of the cap to the former coaching staff, I inherited a lot of guys who were really well coached. And I felt like we were a little bit farther ahead because we had fifth-year senior Gideon Campbell and Richie King, those type of guys, and Derek. And, our system was, even though it was my first year, we were a little bit further ahead. I feel like with so many new bodies, we've kind of like taken a little step backwards, and we don't have the same type of length that we had last year as well, more explosive offensively. But you know, the thing that I think is the difference is we're turning people over a little bit more. We've made a focus this year of being more active and trying to deflect the ball, and we chart deflections. And if you look at our KenPom numbers, our turnover percentage, so the number of turnovers that we create per possession is a lot higher than it was last year. We don't guard any different. We just put more of an emphasis on playing with activity. And you know, it's not that we're a pressing team now, running and jumping. We still do what we do, but I think that activity that we're playing with turns people over more, and it kind of skews the numbers a little bit. Our percentages aren't quite as high. Field goal percentage and three-point field goal percentage, but we are creating a little bit more turnovers.
Coach, we talk a lot about offensive boards in these conversations every game. 12-11 today on the offensive boards without Joey in the lineup. Was it safe for you guys to play?
Yeah, you know, we were really worried. Last year, when we beat them here, they had 13 offensive rebounds. When they beat us in the tournament, they had 13 offensive rebounds. What did they end up with again?
11.
It ended up with 11, and we know we have to be a really, really good blockout team because we don't have great size. But because they take so many long shots, they only shoot 30 threes a game. Long shots equal long rebounds. And as you can see, like when those long rebounds carry them off the rim, they fly around. And credit Barkley and how hard he gets those kids to play. They keep the ball alive. They tip it. We showed our guys a couple clips where they played Florida State when in one possession they had 5 guys on the floor on the same possession. And like I said, that's a credit to them and how hard they play. And I said we got to match that. It's not going to be the traditional rebounds just in the paint, jumping up higher than the other guy. A lot of them are going to be long rebounds that get deflected, loose balls that are squirting around. We got to get them. I don't know if we got all the ones I wanted to get, but you know, I think our kids really, really competed. I wish they didn't get 11. You know, our goal, I think, going into the game was 7, but you know, that was a big emphasis.
Talked about efficiency too. Keon Moore, 23 points in 30 minutes. Christian Farmer, 15 points in 14 minutes. Talk about those two guys and what they did today with that trigger.
Both those guys, you know, can put the ball in the basket. You know, Chris is a guy that it's fun to see his evolution because he's become so much better of a defender within our system. And, you know, he can get out of the bed in the morning and, you know, in his slippers, you give him the ball with nobody guarding him, he can make 15 to 20 threes and he can really, really shoot the ball. The other aspects of Chris's game are starting to evolve where he can play in longer minutes because you can trust him on the defensive end. That's a credit to, you know, his hard work and diligence and getting better in that area. Keon Moore, same way. You know, at his prior school, he scored, I think, 1,200 points or 1,100 points in 2 years. He can really, really score the ball. So, you know, we needed all the buckets those guys gave us tonight. It's the neat thing about this team. We're an extremely deep team, and we constantly harp on those guys to, you know, it's amazing how much can accomplish. I don't know who said it, but how much can be accomplished when nobody cares who gets the credit. You know, Keon Johnson's been our starting point guard. He's been our leading scorer for the majority of the year. He got in foul trouble. Every time he came in, they were attacking him off the bounce. And it's foul, sit down, foul, sit down, foul, sit down. You know, you look down the bench, you call him Brandon Begg. He comes in, he takes the game by the throat. He was born to break a press. He was born to beat a trap. I don't know if I've coached any guys that's harder to trap than Brandon. And we knew when we had a lead on him, there was going to be an onslaught where they were just coming trying to turn us over and try to claw back into the game. If anybody was at the game last year, it was exactly like that. We had a pretty big lead, and they just came after us. It was one of those things. I felt this way today. I looked up at the clock, and there was like 6 minutes on the clock. And I was like, this is going to be the longest 6 minutes of my life. But Brandon is such a voice. He took care of the ball and kind of brought the game home, if you will. So that's the cool thing, is that as long as these guys start to buy into, hey, we don't have a guy that's a 21 points a game, a night game guy. We don't have that guy. And I think that's good, but everybody's got to accept that role. As long as we're successful and we're winning, everybody's contributions are really, really important. I think we saw that tonight.
Finally, speaking of Brandon, saw Nimley 3 of 10. Never really got a comfortable look all day. Always had somebody in his face the entire game. What do you do differently with him?
He's good. He's a really good player. You know, and I'm 5'0". He's a little shorter than me, so I think us short guys have a little bit of a strong affinity, if you will, to other short guys, but he is a tiger. He's just so tough. And, I think those guys, Keon Johnson's another guy like that, they got a little chip on their shoulder because they've been told they're too small their whole life. And he's really hard to keep in front of him. When he gets in the lane, he sprays the ball, and he can score it. He probably missed some shots he normally makes. I credit our guys a little bit for having a little bit to do with it, but I know one thing, that kid gives me nightmares because he's that dangerous.
Coach, you guys had some really difficult games during the break, non-conference, and you're 2-0 now in the Big South for the first time in 7 or 8 years. Tell me how that non-conference schedule kind of challenged you guys and prepared you for Big South play.
I just think Coach Prosser used to say the season's a lifetime. There's so many things that happen. There's good things, there's bad things. He used to say, babies are born, people die, all kind of stuff happens throughout the course of the year, and it's just learning, getting better from all those experiences. And we've had some really tough losses, disappointing losses, but to our kids' credit, I tell Brett all the time I'm a boring interview because I always harp on consistency, not being high with the high and lows with the lows. Just come to practice every day with the mentality of getting better, and that's my challenge before we play on Wednesday. Is making sure we walk into practice, and I think I said this on another interview, if not here, it's another Coach Prosser thing, never accept a victory, which you wouldn't accept a defeat. We got to make sure we have the same mentality, even though we won the last 2 games, than when we lost 4 just a few short weeks ago. And it felt like, the outside world, the ceiling was caving in. You want to stay consistent, keep getting better. And this is a good league, really good players and good coaches. Every single night is going to be a battle. I think the one thing about the league right now is there's a lot of parity, there's a lot of even teams. And if you let up for 1 millisecond, anybody can beat you. Anybody. And that's my challenge, and that's our challenge. And we play a very, very good, dangerous Gardner-Webb team that returns a ton of players from last year's team that was, as you know, kind of took the league by storm.
And you expect Joey to play Wednesday, to be ready to go?
Hope so. I know one thing, he's a tough kid. And we got a really good sports medicine guy. So I'll take my chances.
Thanks, guys.